How's it going, garden people? Welcome to the Hidden Gardens. Today we're going to do a back tour of the back garden area spaces. I'm going to try something a little new. I'm going to just go off the cuff here. No recording or voiceover later. So apologies ahead of time if the audio is a little rough. I don't have a microphone, but there's no wind so far, it seems. So hopefully we should be all right audio-wise. Starting here is a Japanese maple. This maple I got originally as like a little stick, ordered from a big box store, and it is this size now. I do keep it in a pot. I'm unsure of the variety, so if anybody might know what this variety is. It comes out about orangey colored in the springtime and gets some really pretty orangey reddish colors in the fall. Good example of some of the coloring there, as well as there, but it's very, very pretty tree. But I do keep it in the pot because I'm not sure of the variety. I don't know how big it's gonna get, but it is fairly fast growing too, so it's put on a lot of growth just in this little pot. So that's that. Again, if anybody's got a variety possibility on that one. Really pretty Japanese maple though. So we'll move along. Over here I have the North Pole arborvitaes all in their pots. They were all grown from quart size, I've talked about before. Those should get about 10 to 15 feet tall, 3 to 5 feet wide or so. I'm hoping to get those into the ground this coming year, this fall maybe sooner. I would like to take some of them maybe and bring them more back onto this back tree line, possibly. We'll see. Kind of do like a mixed hedge. Jim from HortTube, he definitely emphasizes the need to switch it up when it comes to hedging, so that if one goes out, it doesn't take it all out. Right in front of you are Rosa Sharon plants. There's 5 of them there. There's one little small one, a bunch of weeds as well, but that's basically, they're hanging out. There's 2 lavender chiffon ones, and a few different colors there. They're hanging out until I decide where I really want to put them, because they do get fairly big. Right here is a Hinoki cypress, again in a pot, till I determine its long-term space, but a very, very pretty tree. Where it is right now, it gets mostly shade-ish. It's part shade, part sun, and the coloring does come out for the most part. It would come out a lot more yellow if I had it in more full sun, but I happen to like the more neon look to it, the neon type green. So I was debating moving these out of this tree line, but I kind of think I like it there, and so I think they may just stay. We'll see. Weeping Atlantic cedar. This one gets really big, about 15 to 25 feet tall. Still debating on its placement. I had originally got it thinking it was a different tree, but nonetheless, a very, very pretty tree, and it's got really, really pretty blue foliage, so I definitely want to make sure I put that in a nice spot. But it does seem to like this part shade under the canopy of the trees area. Same with stories with this one, Vesuvius flowering plum, that I'll be putting along this tree line somewhere. I definitely like the contrasting foliage from this tree. I'm not sure how big or tall these get. I don't have all the stats for the plants, so I'm not going to be able to give you all the stats for the plants that you see here, but I'll do the best I can as I go along. Here's some 2 Bigfoot clearas. As you can see, those get 15 to 20 feet tall and about 5 to 6 feet wide. These 2 are on pots. I do have other ones along the property. Okay. Moving along, we have weeping extraordinaire flowering cherry tree. It's definitely a small one. It's supposed to get fairly big, so still determining placement for that one. There's a rhododendron plant in front of it, along with a nice weed there. And this whole area is a bit weedy, so I do still need to come through and clear it of the weeds and grass and such, but do what we can do when we can do it. Anna's magic ball right here, rhododendron behind it that seems to be doing a little bit better. Both this one as well as that one were looking quite yellowish at the beginning of the season. I threw some soil acidifier and holly-tone down. I used some azalea and rhododendron fertilizer, as well as a little bit of soil acidifier, and it seems to have greened them up a little. This pretty plant is a Seaside Serenade hydrangea that needs more soil acidifier, as you can see, but still really pretty coloring. If you can see in there, really, really pretty. Definitely enjoy the different coloring that hydrangeas give off. Multicolor effect. So the rhododendrons are a question of whether they'll stay, but enjoy what we can for now. This one is a hydrangea. The variety is Sublime, and it's a fairly recently planted, so all of these are fairly recent enough. And sitting behind it is a Quason cherry tree. Again, placement, waiting for placement, but that one will get big. Another rhododendron. Most of these rhododendrons are supposed to get really big, so as far as an evergreen type of backdrop back here, but they're not going as well, obviously not as fast as I would like, but I also think they're not going to be as full as I first had thought that they might be. So we have another hydrangea right here. I'm not sure of the variety name here. If I can find it, I will pop it up on the screen. Moving along. That is, I will see if I can find the tag. Up in here, nope. I do try to put the tags in there, but I don't always get them in there, or they get dispersed with the weed whacker. But if I can remember what this is, I'll put it up there. This one is also a cherry tree. This one is a, boy, I'm blanking because I'm on camera. A autumn cherry tree. So this one actually technically blooms twice a year. It gets the nice full spring show, and then another show, a small show in the fall. So about 25 feet tall or so it's supposed to get. So again, it's in a pot, waiting its permanent spot. Another rhododendron back there. That variety, I believe, is there. Yep. We have pink rose bay rhododendron. And right here, let's see, I know I have the tag for this one. Almost dropped you. Yeah, early sensation hydrangea. Really pretty pink blooms. I do have to add some more soil acidifier to try and bring down those blooms. Try and get them more on the bluish, purplish side. I've succeeded in some areas, and some areas is just not enough. That all has to do with playing with the soil chemistry, but it's kind of a fun process either way. And either way, really, really pink, pretty blooms. So cool with that. There's another rhododendron back there. That one's a bit on the struggle bus. That one was actually here on the property when we moved in and was moved to this spot. But it has really pretty dark purple blooms when it does bloom, so we'll see how it goes. Another Anna's Magic Ball right here. And the little lime hydrangea. And there's another little lime over on that side right there. So I believe this side's getting more sun than this side because these were both planted at the same time. Waterfall, weeping Japanese weeping Japanese maple right here. And the well, I'm not going to pronounce it. You can kind of see it on the thing. So, Japanese maple, as well as another one right here. That one's a thread leaf. So I will probably be planting these trees in this spot. Probably move up this hydrangea as well as this one. This one is a sky view, I believe. Yeah. Let's check. Let's make sure. Yes, sky view hydrangea right here. And down there we have another plant to be planted. That's one of the cascading hydrangeas. I believe it's the white one. And I don't know if I have the tag for this one. Oh, I do. This one is the Let's Dance Blue Jangles. As you can see, it's kind of pink. Again, it's the soil acidifier, but still a pretty tree. And back this way is a weeping Alaskan cedar, which is absolutely spectacular. That one should get about 15 to 20 feet tall, about 10 feet wide or so, give or take. Really pretty cascading branches, evergreen. Really love that tree. Especially look for that one for this corner. So it's put on a bit of growth since I planted it, and it's really pretty. I'm enjoying that. Under here is also another rhododendron that I will be moving, and I'll be planting this Bigfoot cleara as well as over here. So this area is due for a little bit of an overhaul. Bigfoot cleara in the back there. Then right here, this is a fluffy arborvitae. It's I believe a western one. Again, keeping it understoried under the tree canopy, and out of the full blazing sun, you get more of this like neon effect, which I appreciate more in these trees. Otherwise, if it was in more sun, you would get more of a yellow tone to it. And then we have some newly transplanted catmint. I believe these two are Walker's Low. In the middle is another Anna's Magic Ball. And then a backdrop of emerald arborvitaes all along the back here. Just redid this whole area. So you can check that out in a video. I'll link it below, the transformations that I've done here. And this one is the Let's Dance Big Band, I believe. I'll look it up just to be sure, and I'll put it on the screen. But really pretty. As you can see, the soil acidifier is taking in some aspects for this one. Very pretty. Really enjoy this plant. It is a rebloomer. And heuchera. And you can see there's still work to be done in terms of weed suppression and so on. I at least was able to get this area. Moving along, we have quite a bit of plants that I recently planted. A you check out that transformation video, you'll be able to see that. Benikazi grass, Benikazi. And this area is known as the Emerald City Garden. And going along with that, have some Veronica here, the Wizard of Oz Veronica. I do have a Ruby Slippers hydrangea that I plan to plant along here somewhere. I just haven't quite decided where yet. A couple of the cascading hydrangeas. We've got the two green ones and the fresco in the middle there. Lots of coral bells along the middle there to make like a river of coral bells. And the catmint. There are two varieties of catmint. Walker's Low and then a different kind of, was it Big Hill or Big City, something like that, I'm not sure. And we have Sergeant Pepper Dogwood. That'll be really pretty, nice winter color against the Emerald Arborvitaes. More Anna's Magic Ball, some Lamium as well. And right here we have a Golden Shadows Pagoda Dogwood. This one hung out in its can for a couple of seasons, and I finally decided to place it here, and I'm super happy with that. As you can see, it has put on a lot of new growth, so it does seem to like its new spot. So I'm pretty excited about that. I think that that'll look really pretty once it gets bigger, about 12 feet tall or so. And I will limit up enough that I can get up underneath it. But that should fill in really nicely, and it really likes shaded area, so that's what this is. This spot anyways. I'm right in the middle because right directly behind me is a tree. It's a big, very large established maple tree, as you can see, so it shades. The sun sets behind me. So this middle area is definitely almost always shaded. Some dappled sun, enough that the plants underneath it will live, and hopefully that this fresco cascading hydrangea will do well in this spot. We'll see how that goes. And as you can see, I do have a bit of a balanced situation going on. The fresco in the middle, the green cascading, repeat plants with the Benikazi, the lavender, catmint, nepeta plants, and the dogwood plants, as well as the hydrangeas as well. Try to pan kind of slowly. So I do like to have a bit of balance going on in my gardens. And this hydrangea is the original, is the variety it's known by, and it's really pretty. It's quite floppy actually, but it is very, very pretty. So it can flop all it wants back here. And it does seem to like this area. Again, working with the soil acidifier and such to get the chemistry right in the soil to make it the colors that you want, but really, really pretty. Different colors, a little faded out in the screen, but in person it's really pretty. Same situation over here. We've got another fluffy arborvitae that balances it out back there. And this variety is called Bloomstruck. Really, really pretty hydrangea. As you can see, it's up underneath the canopy of this tree. So these hydrangeas, the macrophylla type, do really well under the part shaded area, particularly because when they are in the full sun, they tend to look a bit sad in the afternoons, but they do perk up even in the full sun type areas. But I do like mine in the part shade area. They seem happier to me in my little garden here. So, and I just planted this tree. It's a red sentinel, Japanese maple. I did include that in, I'll link those transformation videos below, because I just cut back all of this lamium and planted it all here. Not lamium, pulmonaria, lungwort. So these are all pink and blue, spot on, and raspberry splash varieties of pulmonaria. And in that video you can see I cut the majority of them back and transplanted them over here. And they all seem to be doing really well, taking to this spot really nicely. Still some more work to be done over here, but progress is progress, and that's to be excited and glad about, and I definitely am. Another Bigfoot clearer right there. And back there is a white snake root, chocolate variety. That's a native plant to my area. I'm not sure what type of tree that this is above us, but it does rain down little yellow flowers all over the place in the late spring. It's a pretty tree. Another Bigfoot clear, looking a little worse for wear. It was struggling in its can, so it's finally in the ground now. As you can see, I did have to build up the soil a little because the tree roots do exist under there. I still need to do some work in terms of pulling the weeds and mulching and getting a handle on that. But I'm pretty pleased as to the progress that I've been able to take care of over here. If we go behind the greenhouse over here, I can show you the jasmine plants. They were just in bloom. This one blooms a bit yellower than this plant, which there's a few left on there. See that back there? This one blooms more white. It's star jasmine. Really, really pretty vining evergreen plant. This one is zone pushing for my area. I'm a zone 7. This plant is a zone 8, but it does live here in the greenhouse. And so far so good. I actually had a really, really cold winter, and I thought that I had lost this plant, but it did actually come back. It defoliated completely, but it did come back, so, which is how I ended up with the second plant, thinking that the first plant lost it. It was just a rare cold snap that we don't have them often, but I now have 2 plants, and that's a high five too. Moving on, we have a yardline viburnum right here, as well as right here, and camellias, along with other yardline viburnums, amongst a plethora of weeds that still need my attention. I did plant these up in a past video as well. In terms of varieties, we're not going to go back there because it is quite weedy, but we will take the turn here. We've got some potato plants. I said I was going to grow potatoes this year, but here they are, as well as some carrots. I do got to come through and thin these carrots. I started them, unconventionally. I started them in seed packets and transplanted them out. I seeded heavy because carrots, a lot of people have trouble germinating carrot seeds because they need to stay moist and wet and such like that. So that's just how I did it. I transplanted them, and now I really do need to come through and thin them out. But at least I was able to grow them, and they are growing along. Again, with the potato plants, like I said, I wasn't going to grow potatoes. I usually don't have the best of luck. Only get a few potatoes, and it just doesn't seem worth it. I'm not sure what's eating all the leaves of it, but maybe that little white moth has a idea as to what. But that's fine. We're gonna see what we get anyways, because I did have them, so I just planted them. Down here we have a bunch of azaleas that I pulled out of that back garden that weren't thriving where they are, so now they're sitting in pots awaiting a better place. And as you can see, a bunch of grapes growing from the grape plants that I have in the raised bed garden area, as well as clematis plant that's beginning to bloom. That one's a really pretty clematis plant. It's a late blooming clematis. As to the variety, I believe, let's see, so we do have quite a bit of clematis plants planted down here. That purple variety is the PPAP clematis. That's that purple one that's blooming late. Had a rough time with the clematises this year, but did have some success. This one I transplanted along, I think 2 seasons ago, and it's still existing. It's still hanging out. Moving along to the raised bed garden area. We have a white grape, a Concord grape in the middle, and then a red grape all at the end. And they do require 2 different types of pruning techniques. There's the cane pruning, which is the Concord, and then the spur pruning techniques. That's definitely an interesting thing to learn, but as you can see, I might be getting the hang of it, at least a little. Growing grapes it's so simple, it's complicated. But definitely a lot of fun. And you can see my greenhouse is in need of a bath for sure, but 'tis the season, that time of year. Have a couple of onions growing along. I did just pull the soft neck garlic out of here, and I planted some shorter day tomatoes back there. Still have the garlic in this bed. As you can see, they're about to curl, these little stalks here, these scapes, they're about to curl, so I'll cut those off, and that garlic should be ready pretty soon. The borage plant right there, and pepper plants, bell peppers, some tomato plants as well, more tomato plants this way, basil plants. There's the cucumber plants that are starting to grow up, mingle with the grapes. A couple of cucumbers on there. More tomato, more garlic. Now I've already taken the scapes off of these. I think that these are a shorter time garlic, so actually they might be done. So we will see. Actually, maybe we'll pull one up and see what it looks like. Get it up. Let's see. We'll try. In an awkward positioning here, but I can't really get it up. I need a fork to kind of lift it up underneath, but those should be about done. Some more tomatoes over here, and we'll talk a little bit about these curly stakes. I really do like these for tomatoes, because as you can see, you can twine them around, and it really is quite sturdy. I do have them connected with the tomato cage, and it's working really well to support these tomatoes rather well. It's a little bit jam-packed in here, which should be okay as long as, like, as you can see, I limb up the bottoms to give it a bit of airflow, except for this plant is a compact tomato, so I couldn't really limb that one up too much, because that's about as big as as tall as it's gonna get. But quite a bit of tomatoes coming along here, so we're kind of going with it and working with what we can. Another forage plant right here. And more grapes. This one is the red grape variety, so you don't see the tag here anywhere, but they'll turn into more redder type grapes as the season progresses, as they ripen up. As you can see, I got some pruning to do, some summer pruning, as well as blueberries. I have blueberries growing here as well. Some of them are getting a little bit ripe. And then there's strawberries underneath. Moving along this side. More peppers over this way. These are all the hot peppers, as well as some squash and mini squash and varieties, butter baby and little acorn squash. They're little small ones, but as you can see, big leaves. So those are kind of growing all along this trellis, as well as the outer trellis there, and mixing with the grapes and such. I have to come along and kind of thin out some of these leaves. They actually just started getting going, so a couple other plants here not doing too great, but yeah. Another borage plant. Borage is really good to plant around your tomatoes and such. Got another hot pepper over here. I think those are supposed to be bell peppers, but maybe not. More basil over on this side. So that's the raised bed garden area. And then coming along here, you can see we've got the strawberry shortcake raspberry plants, 2 of them. I had to move them off of the dirt there because they were trying to go underneath the pots. And I have some dahlias that I potted up that I didn't think had made it, and they did. And now they need a place to go, and I haven't gotten that far. Blueberry plants as well that need bigger pots. And more dahlia seeds. These are all the floret dahlias, grown from seed. So they still need a home. As you can see, they're in little containers. More floret plants grown from seed. We have some zinnias and celosia. Really, really pretty zinnia plants. I don't know if you can see it because the sun might be shading it out, but oh, there we go. Let's see the color on that one. Really pretty. Some more celosia growing. These got super huge. You can check out my past shorts. Got really, really, really tall. And this is the other smaller compact variety of blackberry. Can't think of the name at the moment. And more raspberry, blackberry plants. These all need more fertilizer. I didn't get to it in time this year. They were looking a lot darker, but rain and watering lately. But they are producing, so that's cool. As you can see, I do like them in the pots because that way they don't run ragged into the lawn. But, you know, doing well-ish. Like I said, is producing, but definitely does need more fertilizer. So these tables have all the plants that I've yet to find homes for that still need to be potted or placed. Laura Bush petunias, those are really pretty. I wish I could find more of those packets. So lots more to still plant and plant up and experiment with. These are all the plants that didn't make it into the garden, but still want to do something, so maybe I'll pot them up, we'll see. I just didn't get a chance to take care of them yet. More hydrangeas and such. This one is that Ruby Slippers hydrangea that I was talking about. Really pretty. And as you can see, the lawn definitely needs work. It's mostly weeds, a teeny bit of grass. We have a willow plant right here that absolutely cannot go in the ground because in the back here is the septic. So we'll pot that into a container. And we have some other plants in containers on the back deck area here. See if I can get to them. We have a peach, patio peach. Bonfire is giving a few peaches. My Monet Woodgelia, columnar apple. That one is the North Pole. And varieties of pear trees. We have a Bartlett pear that I'll pot up. And this one is the Fiji apple. It is giving me an apple. Or two. D'Anjou pear tree as well. Put on a bit of growth this year too. I just got these in beginning of the season, so. And then this is a red delicious apple, which as you can see is giving off quite a few apples. They've been in the containers for a couple years now, about 1 or 2 years. I am gonna repot them, just not now. We'll wait till they're finished producing. And there's another pear over here. This one is, let's see, let me see it. This one is a Summer Crisp pear. And to finish it out, another columnar apple that is a green one, the Golden Sentinel. So that's the back gardens. Lots of projects still in the works, lots of projects to still accomplish and take care of. Lots of things to get still in the ground. But you know, things go as you go and the pace that you can, and that's a big thing that I try to emphasize is do what you can do when you can do it, and try not to stress too much about the things that you weren't able to get done. So I hope that you will consider subscribing, because hopefully this video has inspired you to do things along in your backyard. Oh yeah, before we go, more evergreen areas over here. If you look, we even have the gardenias that didn't do well out front, so are now in pots back here. But we've got some blooms there too, so that's cool. Those are really pretty and smell really nice. So the gardenias, a couple more blooms on those too. So the gardenias seem to do well in this back area. So sometimes that happens. Plants that you thought might do well in the area that you place them just struggle. So if you move them to a different spot, they'll surprise you and do much better. So please consider subscribing, as it does help me out. It helps my channel out. Let me know if you like this video and actually talking to you as opposed to a voiceover. Give me a thumbs up, a little bit of encouragement, because I am out of my comfort zone. But I hope that this video inspires you to continue along on your gardening journey, whatever that looks like for you. And thank you for coming along on mine.